What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Roxora, and today we are finishing up the set review, the kind of, I guess, more like meta-analysis or just relevant cards from Archazia's Island set 7. So again, just talking about the mono-colored, the mono-ink cards here. Gonna finish that up and then talk about some deck lists now that we have some tournament data and everything like that. So yeah, it should be cool. I'll also showcase one of my decks that I just played actually in a tournament today. Uh, did okay. Changed up the deck a little bit, so you'll see that. And yeah, should be fun. If this is something you guys find valuable, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Splitting this up was a lot of work, so I hope you guys, even if you didn't watch every single video, definitely go and give some of them a like, and if you appreciate all the hard effort. Yeah, speaking of other videos, again, I use the grading scale that I kind of showcased in the first video that I did. And so again, I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but basically A through the rankings are A through F, right? A through F with a subgrade in T for tech cards. Hasn't really been too many tech cards, which is kind of interesting lately. Obviously there's like some cards that now are emerging as tech cards. I'll talk about that, one of them, in a second. But yeah, but still, again, if it comes up, I'll kind of bring it up. So yeah, let's start off with hey, we just got a nice ally here, nice goon. Nothing too crazy there. There is the Floodborn hey, which is cool. This Mulan, though, however, is really nice. 1 cost, 2/1, 1. Whenever you play this character, you may draw and then discard a card. So we already had this in Simba, but the stats are reversed, so the 2 power on this is nice. And yeah, this type of effect is really good on a 1-drop. And yeah, it's pretty good. Next up we got Aquila, just kind of filler. I want to talk about this Helga Sinclair, as again, in the Sapphire video we talked about how powerful the bell is, the inventor. Oh, I'm blanking on the name of the bell, but yeah, the 3-cost bell that is wreaking havoc in the meta right now. Helga Sinclair, 2-cost uninkable 0/4/1, challenger 3. During your turn, this character gains evasive. So first of all, this just stat wise, very powerful challenger. Right, so able to take out a bell, survive a lot of the steel, opposing steel removal, right, and so then can challenge a bell, live with one willpower left, and yeah, and then can even take out Diablos and other evasives. So quite a powerful card. Again, the uninkable is rough, but that's why I kind of look at this and say it's more of a tech card, as I don't think you really want to run this in general. But if you're really trying to take out those bells, or you're really trying to make sure you have answers to evasives, this is a good option. So again, not an all-star, but it looks like a pretty nice role player. Bolt here as the shift target for the Amber Steel Bolt. Whenever this character quests, if it has no damage, you may again do the looting effect. Again, in Magic we call this a loot when you draw and discard. Not the biggest fan of this card, again, but it is unfortunately needing to be played if you plan on playing the Floodborn Bolt, as again, you just need to be able to shift if you're gonna play that card. So it's fine. It's just kind of it's a D. It's a role player, right? Again, you play this not because of its effect. You play it because it is a shift target. Tuk here. Interesting card. 2-cost uninkable 0/1/1 bodyguard, resist 2. So really weird card. It does survive a storm. It does not survive a bell, unfortunately. But also just the fact that this doesn't have any strength is really rough. I guess if you played this in Amethyst Steel, you could crab it, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I still think this is more almost like an F. The uninkable is really rough, again, especially on a character with 0 zero power. It makes sense. Like it makes sense that like this could just like wreak havoc in certain cases. Just dies to Sisu, dies to Brawl, dies to like a lot of the characters in the meta. So yeah, just not really really a card I'm paying attention to. Razul here, 2 cost, Inkable 1/3/1. It banishes an item if you have a Jafar when you play it. Kind of cute, not really good. Again, in the Jafar, the Amethyst Steel Jafar decks, you probably run this. But outside of that, yeah, this looks just like a D, more like an F. I guess D in that it is playable in a very specific deck, but even in that deck, it's not really that great. So it's fine. It's fine. It'll see play in the Jafar deck. But again, that deck is also not great, even though I love that deck. But yeah, it is. We gotta, we gotta live in reality here. So, anyways, we got Mickey Mouse, Inspirational Warrior here, the Steel Legendary. One of the Steel Legendaries. This one's not so good, in my opinion. 2 cost, Uninkable, 1/1. Whenever you during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may play a character for free. So obviously that text is pretty crazy sounding, but being a 1/1, and then also again just your opponent having the agency to play around it, and then also again you needing to have the enablers for it, because also it's a one, like again you have to think about it is a 1/1, so you have to have the something to buff it up probably, because again unless if your opponent has something with 1 willpower, they're just not going to quest. They're just not going to let you challenge with it. But then also you have to have again a really big character to play with this. There are some crazy shenanigans where you use this, and then in Purple Steel, you play what's it, Exert Effort or something like that. That's 3 cost uninkable action in Amethyst. You exert a character and give something +2 challenger or something like that. So if you curve those together, if you curve Mickey into that, right, you get to tap down something that your opponent has, challenge it with a 3 power Mickey Mouse, and presumably that gets you it. And that's, if you're running playsets of those, this eight uninkables right there. So yeah. That being said, kind of comparing this to, by the way, it's really weird that we had 2 Mickey Mouses. We have 2 Mickey Mouse legendaries that their mechanic is playing characters for free. There's the Mickey Mouse Trumpeter, and then now we have the Inspirational Warrior here. Very strange from a design, like from a card making standpoint, that's so close together. You just have 2 cards. I guess I kind of had the same thing now with Tamatoa. So I don't know what's going on. It's just a little weird. But kind of ignoring that for a moment, this is, or kind of not ignoring that, kind of using that, but ignoring the bad stuff. The Mickey Mouse Trumpeter was terrible. It comes out earlier. Your opponent has like a little bit more agency, maybe in like playing around this, as again they have to not kill it, and they have to like basically either not quest or leave this open to challenging or something like that. But this is probably a little bit easier to enable. Again, with in Purple Steel in particular, like with the crab, also in Ruby, right? You can buff this up. So I don't want to be like get people excited, because spoilers, like again, it's not a meta card. Like this is not a meta card. It's not a good card, but it is more achievable than the Trumpeter, in my opinion. It's cheaper, right? It's not a 4 cost uninkable. It's a 2 cost uninkable. So yeah, if you just, and again, exerting characters, buffing your characters, like that's stuff that you kind of already want to be doing. So yeah, like, so it's not like you have to run all these crazy cards to make this card work. But again, The big thing is it's usually not worth running a huge character like the big 9 cost Goofy in a deck like this. Most of the time you're going to be getting like a 5, 6, 7 drop with this. Again, if you get Jafar out on turn 3 with this, it's like, okay, it's really cool. How often are you doing that? I don't know. But yeah, this looks like a C. It's like a fine, cool card. Some people are gonna mess around with it, but I'm not too impressed with it. Next up, we got Double Trouble, 2 cost, inkable, deal 1 damage to 2 chosen characters. This looks like more like a D. The 1 damage is really rough. The fact that you can't do it from how I'm reading it, you can't do it to the same target. So it's 2 cost to deal 1 or 1 to 2 things, not 2 damage. It's not just like an upgraded Baboom. So that's how I'm reading it. If it's different, like it doesn't really change my opinion of the card too much. So yeah, it just looks like and again, it's not really seeing play right now. If it was good, like it probably would, but yeah, pretty rough. I didn't realize this was 2 costs. I thought this was 3 costs. So I'm looking at the steel coil for the first time in a little bit. So 2 cost, uninkable. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may draw a card and then discard. So you do the looting. I did not realize it was 2 costs. I thought it was 3 costs, and I thought it was pretty bad at 3 costs. It's not much better at 2. It's just like what deck wants this? Like I guess Jafar, like even Jafar, like again, doesn't really want like the item stuff. So yeah, it just looks like an F. I just don't know what deck really wants this right now. Like no blue steel deck wants this. Yeah, just looks like an F. We got training staff, 2 cost, inkable, item, exert, and pay 1, give a character challenger +2. It's fine. It's like a D plus. It's like fine. If you want an item that buffs your characters, go ahead. Not really into that. Next I've got Raya, 3 cost, inkable, 1/4/2. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, this character gains +1 strength until the start of your next turn. So until the start of your next turn is nice. It's a little interesting that this is such a weak power strength character. The resist one going on to just it is a little bit rough. And then if you think about it as like, okay, if you think about this as a 1/4/2 with resist 1, like always, if you just always have that active, how good is that? It's not bad. It's not actually, I'm thinking about this. It's like, I'm thinking about this in comparison to like Alice, where Alice, it's like, the rough thing about Alice is that like they trade into it, and it's right, even though it's got the 4 willpower, it's pretty easy to kill. The rough part is that, again, just the 1 strength on this just really hurts. Yeah, this looks just like a C. It's like a fine card. It's not a terrible card. And like this is one of the rare cards where you don't really need to play this and enable its ability on the turn that you play it. So you can just play this on turn 3 and feel good about it. So I like it. I don't think it's crazy, but I don't think it's crazy bad, but it doesn't seem that great to me. So yeah. Next up we got Fazoo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. 3 cost, inkable, 2/3/1. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, if it's the second challenge this turn, gain 3 lore. So a lot of people confused about this text right here. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but just to be clear, right? You do 1 challenge. Doesn't matter whether it's on a location, character, whatever. Just any challenge. Okay. Then this card comes in. Then you say, okay, challenge again with any other character. Now it has to be on a character. It says challenges another character if it's the second challenge, not second challenge on a character. Again, people read, please. There's been so many questions about this card, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get the complexity. I get the wording here is probably not the best, but the once you kind of understand, okay, it just wants me to challenge twice. It's like, okay. So anyways, Probably good in the Ruby Steel deck, as again they just want to be challenging. Um, Presumably, you have two characters in play on turn 3, right? You have a 1-drop and a 2-drop, or you have two 1-drops, and then right, you play this, you challenge twice, you get a bunch of lore. It also can do the challenging itself, by the way, right? So that's kind of cool. So then, like, next turn, you play like Goofy, and you just gain a bunch of lore. So, yeah, this looks like a C. It's like, it definitely could be a card. I've seen a couple lists with it. Next up, we got Jafar, Spire Ruler. 3-cost inkable, 3/2/2. Whenever you play this character, chosen character gains Challenger +2 this turn, so it's kind of like a mini crab. The quest for 2 is nice, obviously a little suffering with the willpower there, but looks good to me. Also another target, so this has kind of replaced some of the tiny Jafars who are shift targets for the Jafar wheel deck. This is just really good, right? Even though that deck could still play crabs, playing a crab that is also a shift target for Jafar is pretty good. So yeah, it looks like a C plus even. I think like this card is a little bit underplayed right now. The quest for 2 is just super huge. Like I mean the problem right now is that with all the strength of raging or not strength of raging fire, let the storm rage on right now, playing a 2 willpower character is pretty rough. So unfortunate. Orville is just a filler card. Same thing with Dr. Calico, although I do like this text of, while it has no damage, gains resist 2, so you can have to reach a certain threshold. Not bad. Kakamora, Mufasa, these are just filler cards. Aladdin is an interesting one. So again, with the the Jasmine Sapphire Steel dual ink card. This is designed to kind of work well with it. So this is 4-cost, uninkable, 2/4/2. Whenever this character quests, you may play an ally with cost 3 or less for free. So pausing right there. Already this card is interesting in that it just, if it successfully quests, you just get to get a huge ink advantage, just start dumping characters out. And then the put in the effort says, while this character is exerted, your allies get +1 strength. So can even like quest, play something, and then the other allies that you have on board get some strength, can do some challenging or whatever. So yeah, I like this card a lot. The uninkable, again, the uninkable is rough. The 2 strength, and then the classic issue of it doesn't do anything when it comes into play, at least not immediately. And then kind of also, again, so the uninkable is rough, not only just because itself is uninkable, but also so is the Jasmine. So if you want to run both Aladdin and Jasmine, it's a lot of uninkables already. But I did like kind of experiment with building a deck with the 2 of them, and it does kind of work out kind of interesting. Again, there's with all the synergies that they have between heroes and allies. I like that. I think it's cool, and I think this card's cool. Cool does not mean good. It looks more just like a C. It seems like it's a playable card, but not a particularly strong card, unfortunately. Even with this effect of Helping Hand, just looks fine. Gaunt, however, is a pretty cool card, pretty strong card. 4-cost, uninkable, 2/4/1. When you play this character, characters can't exert to sing songs until the start of your next turn. So immediately a very, very big header for Steel Song decks. And then also each player pays 2 more to play actions or items. Doesn't apply to singing songs. So again, it increases the cost if you were to just play them straight up for ink, not to exert to sing songs. But again, the exerting to sing songs prevention comes when it comes to play. They can also just play the song for its cost. But again, of course, the don't get any ideas ability increases it. So people who are from Magic will understand this as a stacks card, right? It's just a very disruptive card. So very, very interesting. This card hasn't seen too much play as of yet, but again, if the Sapphire decks and the Steel Song decks continue to see the type of play that they have, been so far, and also just like in the past. This card can be quite a hoser against them. Again, uninkable is rough. I really wish this card was inkable. It would be a little bit too free if it was inkable, I guess, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, this looks like I want to just say this is a tech card because again, it's a really strong tech card in the right matchups. But again, obviously, just individually, it just isn't that good. Again, you play it against something like Diggy Hole, and they just turn their character sideways, and they don't care about your 2/4. So it's a little bit rough. So yeah. TikTok is just a filler card. Next up, we got the other Steel Legendary, Bagheera. Again, hope I'm pronouncing all these correctly. All right, Bagheera is 5 cost inkable 4/3/2 with Bodyguard. And then during an opponent's turn, whenever this character is banished, deal 2 damage to each opposing character. I did not, again, it's been a while since I've read this card, did not realize it was only during an opponent's turn. But again, the Bodyguard helps there. So, yeah, just to grab your sword on a body is pretty cool. A nice a curve topper, as we say in the biz. Right, just you dump all your characters 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you play this out. Inkable, right? So there's really nothing bad to say about this card. The issues right now is it doesn't really have a home. Steel Fossa could be a place for this. Otherwise, I really haven't seen too many lists including it. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about the card. It's not that the card's bad, it's just that it hasn't become quite clear exactly what deck wants this and what decks this is good against, because it's not really great against Sapphire Steel. I guess against Maui Hero to All, it's kind of nice, as they rush into it, it kills it, but then it kills the Bagheera kills it back, and then spreads some damage as well. So sure. Yeah, this looks like a B. I'm gonna say B minus because again, it is a good card. I have nothing negative to say about this card. Right, it technically does something when it comes into play. It protects your characters. It even does something if your opponent kills it. Right, so again, you're not even really losing out if they kill this. You kind of want them to kill this. If they don't, right, you get to quest with it and keep protecting your guys. So. Yeah, but it's just right now there's just not a lot of decks are running it, and we haven't figured out how we can run this card. So, all right, next up we got Restoring Atlantis. We'll show the enchanted here. It's cool art. 5 cost uninkable. Your characters can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. So just blanket, no bodyguard, no like No, nothing. Do not pass go. Just you can't challenge my characters. Of course, again, you can still play actions. You can still be prepared and all of those things. But yeah, no challenges. So this is a really interesting card. Obviously, like if you land this card in the right moment, it just ends the game. But again, on the contrary, there's also again situations where playing against Ruby Sapphire, they just be prepared. Maybe if you play both Pete and Restoring Atlantis in the same turn, just wins you the game. Obviously I'm joking. This card really hasn't seen a lot of play, but I have heard some people talking about potentially using it. I think this looks like a D. It's like not really a card that I'm excited for, but I know some people are thinking about it. And then I think the last one here is just Miss Bianca, which looks like a 6 cost card, but is actually a 4 cost card. Because it costs ink. It is inkable. It's a 5/5 quest for 1. But it says if you have an allied character in play, you may pay 2 less to play this character. So all you have to do is have an ally. There are a ton of decent allies in the game. Most notably of things like Smee. You got what's his name? Lawrence. I also have Daisy. So many of these characters that have the ally tag. You just make this cost 4 instead, and boom, you get a 5/5. We'll kind of show in the deck list portion. A ton of decks are not a ton, a decent portion of decks are including this card, which is really interesting for a common, especially like a common that's so expensive. But as we'll see, the meta again, it's all about willpower right now, and we'll kind of talk about that. But yeah, cool card. Looks just like a C. It's just a role player. It's not like outstanding, but it is a nice card. I'd say C plus even. I think at the rate it's being played, it's probably one of the better commons from the set. I tried to play this card in draft, so I played it with the Orville, which is kind of interesting, right? So you can curve these into each other. This card isn't that good, right? It's just an evasive if you have a Miss Bianca. But again, it's a 3-cost ally, so you play this on 3, and then you play Bianca on 4. So in limited, that was quite powerful. But outside of that, again, not excited about Orville, but I am excited. I am happy about the way Miss Bianca is playing out. All right, it looks like that's all the steel cards. So yeah, that's the set review. So if that's all you're looking for, I just wanted to get my thoughts on the steel cards in the set. Hope you guys appreciated that. We're gonna now talk about some deck lists. We'll kind of showcase. I'll try to showcase a variety, and yeah. All right, so I'm gonna kind of take us through a little bit of almost like a walkthrough of where the meta is and kind of where it could be going. Yeah. So first of all, very early on, Zan, we all know him, did very, very well in a tournament with this Sapphire Steel list running the playset of Oswald. Sorry, go back. Didn't realize that was clickable. So Oswald, obviously very powerful. You can see the 3 copies of Lucky Dime. I think that is the most copies of Lucky Dime we've seen in a competitive deck list ever. Like I think most decks have stayed at 1 or 2 for the longest time, but here with Oswald and Tamatoa, Zan trying to kind of go a little bit all in on the item package, now even running Maurice's Workshop, which for a while was a very, very niche card and was really only used in the more artifact or item heavy artifact. The Magic player in me is coming out. In the more all-in item builds, right, with the queens, with all the crazy stuff. But here, both with Oswald again being able to hit Workshop for free, and then also just Oswald hitting other items for free, right? So if you already have a Workshop out, and then you ink and you get an item for free, you can use the ink that you just inked and pay for the one for Workshop. So this list is very synergistic, which is really exciting for me. I kind of like that there's all of these synergies. So let's kind of go through them. So obviously, again, you see the bell here. Apprentice Inventors at it, yeah. So obviously just the package of Fortisphere, Popsicle, and then even just a one of Shield of Arendelle. So yeah, these are again just necessary in order to play Bell, and then obviously just good with the rest of the item package. Again, not just Hiram now. We now have Scrooge, Tamatoa, and Oswald, and then of course Big Tamatoa. And then now we're just combining that with all of the removal, all the ramp, and just kind of assembling it into one nice package. Obviously, Oswald gets better the more he can ramp. So again, you see the Fishbone Quill and the Great Stone Dragon. Yeah. I've seen Oswald hit like multiple dimes in a game. Again, obviously this card is a little bit susceptible to Storm, but that's okay. Yeah, and then to top it all off, like Tamatoa, happy as a clam, letting you just play, like get back a popsicle or two, and then potentially play those popsicles, find Lucky Dime, and then quest and play the dime for free is just insane. So Tamatoa, if you aren't aware, if you're living under a rock, is currently demanding like a $60 price tag, because again, it's just it is really that good, right? So then playing that, questing, or playing dime for free, getting Tamatoa So Shiny out and ending the game super, super fast, all while having a really good removal package of the Steel Songs here. So yeah, not really much to say. Oh, sorry. Also, Scrooge. This is one of the few decks that can really, really play Scrooge to full effect. Tons of items, tons of ways of getting this out. Again, not really getting Scrooge out before like turn 3 most of the time, but still turn 3 or 4, just playing Scrooge for cheap, and then playing more stuff, using it to sing Zeus. So yeah, everything about this deck is very synergistic, and I like it. This is what Moyen is playing in the LCCC, LC3. I don't know. Yeah, the Cross Continental Challenge. So here, a little bit more of a traditional version of Steel, of Sapphire Steel that we would kind of expect. Right, the 2 dimes. They're choosing to run the Last Cannon, which is interesting. There's a lot of location, a lot of McDuck Manors running around, and so Last Cannon kind of helps you deal with those. Again, the other thing that people have started doing is slotting in more Cogsworth, as playing Tamatoa Happy as a Clam leaves it vulnerable to Zeus, and so if you play Cogsworth into Tamatoa and they Zeus, it only takes 4 damage. So you can already kind of see some of the ebbs and flows of the meta. Otherwise, the deck is mostly the same. I think choosing to run an additional Scrooge Moyen. I've been listening to his podcast. Big fan of Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, here it still has the good enough item count. I've seen some people that still like Tala to find things that are not items, but Scrooge digs 4 and has the upside of well, 1 being a 4/4, but also being played for free. So yeah, cool. Next up, my favorite of these. I was very wary of how playable this deck was going to be. I forget if I talked about this deck on the channel. I'm sure I have, because I am a big fan of this deck. I did like the set champs that I got the Scar with. I played a list that wasn't similar to Din's, but was kind of making the same assumptions of Super Goof is really good and Maui Shark is really good, and I was a big fan of that. And then seeing Din just completely dominate in Melbourne. And then people calling this list like pretty much the best list of set 6. So the issue with this list going into set 7 was that we didn't really get a whole lot of new cards. As you can see, the only new card here is the Tamatoa. No other new cards here. But again, Tamatoa is just that good. And again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So again, the list doesn't necessarily need any new things to kind of be the deck that it's always been. So yeah, love me Super Goof. Love me a Shark. Again, Shark a little bit more of an iffy card right now because of all the Along Came Zeus's running around. Tamatoa is still good here, even with the 4 popsicles. A lot of people wondering about that. I can attest, having played this list, that a lot of times Hiram is a little bit of an awkward card, as your popsicles, unless you draw Hiram and popsicles super early and you have a bunch of time, a lot of time your popsicles are used to heal up your Goofies or your Mauis, and so you just don't have an item to draw with Hiram. Whereas Tamatoa is kind of the inverse, where you want to banish your items because you want to get them back. So you Tamatoa, and you get back Popsicle, and you get to play the Popsicle and get more value out of it. So it almost works better for this deck than Hiram. I believe I saw that in the first round of the LCCC, he had 1 Tamatoa and has since added 2. So that should kind of indicate, like, we know that Din is a fantastic player. We should obviously know that it works in this list. The question is that right now, again, Maui Shark is not the strongest, again, but McDuck Banner still can do the job. Super Goo can still do the job. Hideaway's here is a nice tech against, again, the both Sapphire Steel items, as well as, again, a lot of people running the Manors right now as a way of dealing with Sapphire Steel. So Yeah, another cool list. Nothing much more to say about that. And then I believe this is a different, yeah, the different might have been the same tournament. No, different tournament. At least I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Zan did a different, I think, won a different event. But here, this is Jonathan Williams's Ruby Sapphire list. This is a much more item focused, using a lot more of the new cards from set 7. So we have first of all the bell, as we saw before, but we have a couple of different cards here. We've got the unconventional tool and the sapphire coil. So sapphire coil, as we expected, very, very powerful when you combine it with the Sisus and brawl. Also just reducing strength, as we saw with ice block, is really good for just combat in general, just challenging and not taking damage. It's obviously very powerful. Here, they're only choosing to run one copy of the Lucky Dime. It's probably better to run like 2 workshops and 2 dimes if I were running this deck. Again, just because we're just not running that many. I don't think you're really trying to jam that many workshops. But yeah, Coil is cool. And then you can play it on turn 1 off of unconventional tools. You can go turn 1 tool, play Bell, play Coil. And that just like completely stops people in their track most of the time. And then you can start like inking and playing Sisus. So seen games where just Sapphire Coil on turn 1 or 2 just completely closes out the game. And then still have the Scrooges here. Still got Tamatoas. Like nothing is new here, or nothing is really that much different than Sapphire Steel. Again, you can really tell how much items support we've gotten now that both of these decks, both Zans and this deck, are running Maurice's Workshop. And then we also have this Bell here, the Bell Mechanic Extraordinaire. That when it quests, it kind of takes items from your discard, puts them on the bottom, and gives you more lore. So kind of synergizing with the Bell here, as the more that you put your items into your discard, the more that you can shift this out for lower cost. And again, this card just ends games sometime, just quests for a bunch, and just wins the game. It is also notably a way to sing Be Prepared, which is cool. Most of the time, decks aren't really looking to do that. With this, it's like kind of cool that you can like play this, quest with it a little bit, get some lore, incremental lore there, and then be prepared, set up a Tamatoa, and then dime for the win. So all that's cool. Just really nice to see that these cards are relevant. They are seeing play. I think meta impact wise, I think this is one of the strongest sets in quite a while. You can just see how powerful and how impactful these cards are. Yeah, cool stuff. Moving away from Sapphire, I believe I don't think we're done with Sapphire. Talking about Amethyst Steel here. Nothing too new here. The only new card is Giant Cobra, but that's okay. Giant Cobra is quite a powerful card. Again, that 2 lore off of its enters play effect is quite nice. Getting to play Benja to deal with the Sapphire decks. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Just same old, and playing Cobra. Next up, we've got Emerald Steel from Kurt Spice. So again, kind of the same, a lot of the same stuff. Nothing really new from the deck besides this Pete. As we expected, the Pete is pretty good combination. Just playing Pete referee on 3, and then you get to shift Pete out right away. You get to sing something like "We Don't Talk About Bruno" or just any of the songs. You get its passive effect, and then it just kind of protects your characters and just works really nicely in this shell. It's like not doing anything. It's also Quirky here, which is kind of interesting. Not a new card, but just interesting when you think about, again, there's tons of locations that you need to be challenging, so Quirky kind of helps there. But otherwise, same core of just Prince John, Ursula, Diablo, Smee, like same stuff. So yeah, same old, same old. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Next up, we've got Zach Bivens's Amber Steel. So here, this is a little bit more of like tech again against some of the Sapphire decks. So maybe this is not necessarily the build that you should bring to your locals. But as you can see here, you got Daisy Duck. Daisy Duck has gotten a little bit better in this meta, as again, there's just so many of these decks that are just running so many non-character cards that you could probably get away with questing with Daisy, and you won't always hit characters, or you won't give your opponent cards to the same degree all the time. Zeus here, as you can see, 4 of cutting down on a storm. Again, if your opponent's going to be playing a Bell on turn 1, Storm isn't going to really do that much. You really want something like Strength or Zeus. Let's see. Lawrence, Gaston, all these cards are still great. You can see the Miss Bianca there. So Miss Bianca and Troubadour are the 2 big inclusions in this deck from set 7. Again, both Troubadour being an ally, and then also just being essentially like an Ursula, but a little bit better, as if you let the Storm Mage on it, Ursula dies to 2 let the Storm Mage on, well as Troubadour does not, right? It only takes 1 damage from each. So again, that's not a huge thing, right? Obviously, how often is your opponent going to play 2 let the Storm Mage ons in a row? But it is still just, that resist one still just is really efficient. And then that's really only new stuff here. There are some older cards that are now kind of eking their way into this list. So World's Greatest Criminal Mind, taking care of Tamatoas, taking care of Sharks, not bad. But then we just have Nala and Neverland here as just 4 willpower permanents that are able to give you lore. Nala working well with Rapunzel. And then 1 copy of Unfindable Platinum, just a hedge against Sapphire Steel. They often just end up with a bunch of items in play, as you see from Zan's list. They often just have these items lying around, and if you can nab them, it's going to be pretty strong. It's not backbreaking, as again, both Tamatoas get back items from the discard, so you can banish all their items, and then they can just get them right back. But it could give you enough time to win the game. All right, so now we're moving on to more fun decks. So these are like, again, as you can see, these are like top level players playing the decks that they think are the best. I just wanted to showcase some other interesting lists. So these ones are just ones I grabbed, again, from ink decks, from random tournaments that I thought were interesting, that I just wanted to show. I'm not saying these are amazing lists. In fact, most of these lists are pretty bad, as I'll talk about. Spoilers. But I just wanted to talk about some interesting cards and strategies. So this is Ruby Seal. So again, we really haven't seen Ruby Seal be successful. This is where a lot of people are ending up, again, playing the Mushu. That's really the card that is leading people to build Ruby Seal, which is good, right? Again, that's the whole point of these dual ink cards. Hopefully they continue to incentivize people to play other color combinations. There's also the Floodborn Mulan Imperial General, right? So both of these you can only play in this deck. So yeah, and then as you can see, it's kind of just like your average mid-range deck. Right, you got your shift lines of like Mulan and Robin Hood, the package of Calhoun and Smee, Benja, again teching against the Sapphire decks. That is what you should expect. Raya here helping you challenge multiple times at a turn, so you can challenge multiple times. So you can play, again, like Pete or something, Pete or like Calhoun, play Raya, and then you play Mushu, and then you can, go nuts, right? You can challenge, gain some lore from Mushu, ink, challenge again, gain some more lore, and you're just going off. Yeah. Moana, Chinpo, these are just like fine cards. Ratigan is a card that's seen some uptick in play, as its ability is pretty nice, right? It exerts a character, and then readies one of your characters, right? So that's pretty cool. Obviously the uninkable is rough, but it is a powerful card, right? If you were just trying to do some stuff with like Calhoun or whatever, it should work out pretty well. Maui Shark's in here and works really well with One Last Hope as its hero. So One Last Hope, right, letting you challenge ready characters. All right, so you can kind of people like I've seen people call this like Maui loops, right, where you can play One Last Hope and kind of repeat, repeat, repeat. Kind of if you have Mushu out, right? One Last Hope and Mushu means that it has resist 4. So that's pretty strong if you can set that up. Is that good? Sorry, I should say, is it good enough to actually be a competitive deck? My worry with this deck is again against the Sapphire control decks that really don't care about you challenging their characters, at least not in the early game. I'm concerned about that matchup, but maybe it's fine. The other issue is, again, we still don't really have good card draw for this deck. Some people choosing to use the Queen of Hearts, the Floodborn Queen of Hearts as card advantage here, since we have so many shift targets and just good 5-cost characters. They're choosing around Holy World as well as Medallion Weights. Medallion Weights with Raya does seem pretty interesting, so maybe that can be good. I maybe want to look at that over Whole New World, is again just giving my opponent cards in a deck like this that looks pretty slow. It doesn't look like it has a particularly fast clock. Does not excite me. Yeah, that's Ruby Steel again. I don't think this I don't want to crap all over this list. I'm not bashing this person in particular. I'm just saying the archetype itself does not look to be, again, as good as the other archetypes. So yeah, that hasn't changed, unfortunate, but yeah, this is the archetype. This is like how you can build is one of the lists. There's plenty of lists like this out there, so if you are a really big Ruby Steel believer, you can try something like this out. And then we have the last color pairing that we're going to talk about is Emerald Sapphire, which really, it's interesting that neither of these decks are playing what I was expecting. I thought I was going to see the new Baymax, but unfortunately not. But there are still some new cards here. So obviously Sapphire Coil is the big one. And by big one, I mean the only one in this list. Sapphire Coil allowing the Muses, wherever it is, the Muses, to do some more stuff. But then otherwise, I thought they had the coil. No, I guess they're just using it. So the other thing that's going on right now is people are now using this Peter Pan a little bit more, as it's pretty strong against Steel. Baymax is also a nice card. So yeah, coil. This is Emerald Sapphire. You can play it. I think this list has a little bit more of the newer cards. Nope, still just a couple of coils. Here this works well with Under the Sea. This list didn't have Under the Sea. It just had Bend to My Will. Here, oh, sorry, also see the dual ink geyser. So here is a little bit more of the newer stuff. So Sapphire Coil lets you hit more stuff with Under the Sea, and the Muses. So that's pretty nice. Again, still playing the manners as a way to win the game. And then Ink Geyser is kind of an interesting way to kind of disrupt your opponent. Also works really well with Clarabelle here. So if you can Clarabelle and then play Ink Geyser, you just draw a crap ton of cards. Right? You just like, you're welcome, bounce a bunch of stuff, like Mother Knows Best, bounce a bunch of stuff, and then Ink Geyser. And you're drawing so many cards, it's such a huge tempo play. Again, that being said, I don't think these lists are particularly good. One copy of Bend to My, only one. I liked this other list because it was running a couple copies of Bend to My Will. Only one copy here is a little bit rough, but I guess again, you're trying to use Ink Geyser as your win condition. I guess again, if you were successful in bouncing a bunch of stuff with the Muses and like You're Welcome and Mother Knows Best, and then you Ink Geyser, maybe that's good enough where you slow your opponent down. So yeah, cool. It's a very interesting color combination, very interesting deck. I don't think I would ever play this, not because I mean it just looks really weird and really wonky, so I'm not too excited about playing this. But again, if this is the style of gameplay that you enjoy, it exists, and you can jam it. This is also, by the way, I think seeing play in the LC3. Not familiar with this player, but I haven't really kept too up to date with the the recent matches of Emerald Sapphire, or sorry, of the LC3. But yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, so those are just some of the lists. I'll also just show my list real quickly. So this is the deck that I played today. I just changed a couple of things. Like there were a couple of things I really didn't like. So this is Kiwi Birds. If you're familiar with Harlan Sweetsall, I think they're really, really smart about making this deck. They played this deck in the previous set and did really well with it. Yeah, basically the big card here is Alice Savvy Sailor, which is a weird Sapphire aggressive card, but it gives +1 lore and ward. So it works really, really well with a couple of cards in the list. Oh boy. Give me one sec. Dreamborn is acting up. All right. So first of all, obviously, just Alice into Pluto is very strong. Giving your Pluto ward means that your opponent's going to have to deal with it with their characters. And then challenging into a 5/5 bodyguard is nothing to scoff at. Yeah. So a lot of decks just aren't really going to be able to deal with that super well. And then the other combination is Alice and Gantu, where Gantu is usually a pretty bad card, as if it is killed, it's pretty tragic. But Alice basically guarantees that Gantu lives. Not 100%, but yeah, but you can, right? So again, Ruby Sapphire, its answer is be prepared. But outside of that, yeah, there's really not too much that you can do if you quest with Alice and give Gantu ward. It's really, really difficult to remove a Gantu. Obviously, there's things like Grab Your Sword, but Grab Your Sword is not really seeing too much play. Yeah. So I really like this list. Again, you have the classic package of Bell. So Harlan is pretty much just added in the Bell package. So then adding back the Hiram Flaversham. These decks can sometimes play Dock. So some lists playing Dock, some lists playing Tamatoas as like draw engines. Right, so just getting back your items, drawing more cards, drawing with Hiram. So I previously had Tamato in this list. I recently took it out. And yeah, not a big fan of Dock, trying to keep my uninkable count really, really low. The other really nice thing about this list is, again, people call it a curve list. I think people are calling it a curve list because the way that you're trying to play the deck is you're trying to play something on turn 1, play something on turn 2, play something on turn 3, and so on. I hate that we call it that, not because I think that's a bad description. It's just that all decks want to do that. A lot of decks want to play something on 2, something on 1, something on 2, something on 3. Like, you know what I mean? So that's my critique of calling it a curve deck. But the thing that really makes this deck work is that it doesn't really need a lot of cards to win the game. It's not like Sapphire Steel. It's not like it's trying to just, spam a bunch of cards, spam a bunch of items, Tamato, and win the game. Really, we're just trying to have a couple of characters that are difficult to interact with and just repeatedly quest with them to win the game. So again, Alice and Gantu is quite a lot, right? This is 2 lore, and then this is 4 lore. That's 6 lore right there. And then again, if you play a Pluto, it's this could be like 8 lore because you just repeatedly quest with it a bunch, and your opponent just can't deal with it. So, yeah, the nice thing about the deck is that you can just win the game just by saying screw card advantage, ink, dump my hand, and just top deck for the rest of the game. The deck is built in such a way where, like, Mickey and Bell, right? Even though they're 1-drops, they're kind of relevant in the game. The only real bad card is the Mickey Mouse, right? All the other cards in the deck are kind of good at pretty much every single stage in the game. So yeah, the deck has really good top decks, so that's really nice. And then again, if you really just have an excess of items, you could just draw a bunch of cards with Hiram. So yeah, and then including Baymax and Cogsworth as again just good against some of the Sapphire Steel decks. John Silver is a card I'm adding back in to kind of counteract Calhoun. And then the card that I'm really wanting to work around with is Anna. Really like seeing this card in action. So Anna into Alice, again, that curve is really good. So, and then, sorry, it's really good and is really good into Bell, where they really have a hard time dealing with the Anna in a efficient manner. So, but the other issue is that Calhoun is really good into Anna, as its one strength is really bad. So John Silver protecting your Anna potentially could be nice. So yeah, not really too much else to say. Again, Strength in the Storm, Manners, went down on one manner. Just because right now it's a lot about the game has become a lot about board control. Obviously, the game's usually about board control, but particularly with Bell being such a powerhouse, regaining control of the board is big. So just a turn 1 3/3 really makes it so that Manor's not always as good, especially on the draw. Like I pretty much was always inking my Manners. So sorry, don't want to get too much into talking about this list. I could talk about this list for like hours. There's a lot of nuance into how you build any of these Sapphire Steel lists. There's so many different versions, and some people have talked about me and been like, you know, oh, isn't that good that there's like so many different ways to build these lists? It's like, yes and no. Like, yes, it's good that there isn't just one Sapphire Steel list dominating, but also the Sapphire Steel cards are so strong that you can just throw them together and they often just like do really well, right? So like Zan's list, there's nothing wrong with Zan's list. There's no like glaring problem with it. Even the 3 dimes, that's probably correct. Boyd's list is probably correct. Like it's probably fine. Like there's nothing wrong with their list. Same thing here. Like this Kiwi Birds list, even Harlan or like I know Artifacts, both of them have been messing around with this deck. Nothing wrong with any of these lists. There's just a bajillion ways that you can mess around with it because the package of Bell, Smee, Hiram, and Cogsworth, or any and the Steel Songs and the items, that all just works. It all just works. So, yeah. Anyways, that is just like a little bit of an overview. Again, kind of rambly about where the meta's at. Again, decent amount of decks. The meta has ended up better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was, especially today. I think only 3. I say this like it's great. Only 3 of my 5 matches today were against Sapphire Steel. So I guess that's good. It wasn't 100%. So again, Sapphire Steel still remains to be a very, very strong deck. And we're just going to have to figure out either how to beat it, or do we join it, or what can we do? What deck can we play to kind of counteract it? So yeah, again, hope you guys enjoyed both the, again, the set review, as well as just this little me talking about the meta. Again, if this is the kind of content that you guys enjoy, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.